But no, Beth, your goes crashing down. Determination, the suffering, the ability to... And she's unleashed everything in this attack. See just how much that win means to him. All the marvels. Kayla versus Allison, and to the line. Kayla Laguna takes the victory.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to CVRcade World Cup Racing. We are in the run-up to our first league racing in 2020, and we are so excited. We had some great races in the earlier zones today in K and L. I had a chance to race this Omnia myself. 4 great races. The first one, of course, starting on Dark Matter Tech. You can see everyone warming up on course. Uncrashable is an ability. Quantum Shift is an ability. Corner Caper. All of the low skill our abilities are in play, but we've learned over time that that is just a misnomer, that there's actually high skill, because we do have one comeback kid as a power up, and we've seen that come into play at the very end and even in the middle of the race sometimes to shake stuff up. We do have some teammates out on course tonight. We've got Jennifer Garcia, we've got Aaron, we've got Daniel, we've got Luis, we've got a number of racers in the pen. But first, let's check in with Jenna. Jennifer, your new shoes, are they going to bring you luck? I think you did well on Tuesday with your new Sonic shoes. Tell me all about it.
Not as well as I'd hoped to, but given the big break from all the cycling, I was happy with how it went. The shoes are taking some adjustment for sure. I love them, but my feet feel weird.
Well, then you know they're right. It's like a golf swing. The more awkward it feels, you know you're right in the pocket. So tonight on this low skill event, we've seen you and Aaron really lead the path on how this track and how these lower skills actually become a high skill. Do we have anything different up your sleeve, or are you going to reinvent something or recreate something?
I don't know. We'll have to see how it plays out on course. I have a little bit of an announcement about potential team changes. So we have Timothy in here, and it looks like we might be working together on his new team. So we might see some new dynamics tonight.
Wow. So can I call it when I call tonight? Is it Team Sloth? That's what he was calling it earlier. Oh, you did not know that.
No, I don't think that's the name, but the shirt was gold.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll have to come up with some other magical, mythical character for tonight. Well, I'll be looking forward to that. That's pretty juicy. I think it's a really smart allegiance for both of you there. So just over a minute to go here. My goodness, let's go ahead and check in. We also have Nigel Doyle in the broadcast. Speaking of team switches, so you're rocking the Velocity Vixen Fox kit. Welcome to the team.
Yeah, thanks, Beth. Good to be on your team. Looking forward to my jersey arriving.
Yeah.
Overseas.
Well, I will try to go back to neutral commentator voice, but I'm sure you're going to wear it well. You did. You're going to do the team proud, I'm sure. Just over 30 seconds to go here. I'm going to let you get into the zone, and I will interview you after the race here. But as we said, we've got Daniel, we've got Aaron, we've got Jennifer, we've got Frank in there. I don't know if he's in the pen or if he's in the team car. We've got Luis, Daniel here on stream, team cognition. We're going to kick things off in about 20 seconds. And Daniel, I'm hoping your internet will hold so we can come back for one of those wonderful interviews. We've got Aaron here also. He's got some new shoes as well. So it's kind of like new year, new you, new shoes. Let's see who has the fast feet coming out of the gate, because that's what it takes. stakes. 3, 2, 1, and out they go. Right on the front here of the pack of, you would expect, Frank, Aaron, Jennifer, Daniel, and Timothy. So we do know the answer here. Frank was not just playing a team leader here for CVR. He was actually in the pen here racing. He's got Jennifer up there in the front, Aaron, Frank, Timothy, Nigel drops his power up right early here out of the gate here. Coming back, comeback kid. If you lose the draft in that first little puncher, you need to use that power up. You've got just a few laps here on, just 3 laps here on Dark Matter Tech. So he needs to make up that time right at the beginning here. Might have just fallen off the wheel at the beginning here of the race. Back on board with Daniel. You can see him trying to close that gap. Frank also seemed to use his comeback kid just a few seconds back here, but Aaron comfortably in the front with Timothy and Jennifer. And then you can see there Frank trying to use his comeback kid. He right now is about 4 seconds back. So he's going to have a 45 seconds of that extra power. The way comeback kid is you get that extra power until you pass that rider in front of you. So that's a nice 45-second run here. He's coming up to speed 51 kilometers per hour with Jennifer on the front at 40. She looks pretty relaxed there. Must be the new Sonic shoes there that she's wearing. You can see she's in communication. Quite the artist. We didn't know that about her. So we're going to ping her more later about her artistic talents here. A lot of talents in CVRcade beyond riding the bike and getting our fitness on here on Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays of every week in CVRcade racing here. One of the dynamics here on this track, on this with the abilities in play, is that some of the riders are able to benefit from that draft. But Jennifer's got her nose here out in the wind, but she does have Timothy to work with. So we see sometimes with these racers, one rider will go off the front, give a little bit of a break to their teammate, allow their teammate to execute that comeback kid, because again, the comeback kid will expire as soon as you cross the next rider in front of you. So you do need to either use that to make up a gap or to try to create some distance. And that's going to happen pretty soon because we have just 1.1 kilometers to go. You can see Aaron there looking focused. You can see Nigel here a little bit further down here. He's going to probably hold that position in front of Frank here and keep going. Maybe he had a dropout, but Jennifer there on the front. Nigel trying to see what he can do to make it up. Looking down the nearby riders list, you also see some other comeback kids happening from Louise. But Jennifer and Timothy, she gave us a little juicy tidbit. We know that Timothy Tremont has just left Team Cycling Hub. That was announced. Didn't know if the rumor was true until it was confirmed in one of the later broadcasts here. 0.6 kilometers to go. Jennifer's teaming up, at least in this race. I don't know if it's a permanent roster change. I don't know what the CVRcade team would do if they lost Jennifer, one of the most fiercest racers out on course here. But you can see she's looking pretty comfortable in the front. She's got Timothy and Aaron. So 1, 2, 3. These guys aren't going to put on a move because I think we're going to see who's going to take the points here because Nigel's a little bit further back. So this coordination, they didn't really need to activate and use that comeback kid here on this final bit of the track here. But Timothy does come out in front. Let's see if he does give her a little bit of breathing room to drop that comeback kid. And right now, I just want to welcome all of the viewers here to CVRcade. CVRcade Racing is physical esports. These riders are on their bikes. You just saw Jennifer cross the finish line on this first race of a 4-race Omnium. Here we've got 60 viewers here. Welcome to the broadcast here on Mixer. I'm going to open up my chat here so I can be involved with the conversation. Back on board here with Louise here, coming off to finish out this race. We've got another race here in CVRcade, a 4-race Omnium. The next race is on Submerged Stadium. Now, this race is a higher skill event, and thus the multiplier is a little bit bigger. So 2 times multiplier on this course, because in the last race we had Uncrashable, we had a Corner Caper, we had these abilities that were on that allowed the racers not to wipe out. But in this race, there's corner speeds, there's all these different things you have to worry about. You can see in the highlights here that Timothy and Aaron, and Aaron was saying he was done, and Aaron were all 1, 2, 3 working together at the beginning of the race here. So we're going to come out of this replay. There's Jennifer, our top spot here, gave us that juicy detail. If you're just joining, Jennifer was telling us about a team change here, maybe a roster change. We had a little bit of upset in the rosters where one of the top teams lost their riders, and is out as a free agent solo right now. And Jennifer here is teaming up with him tonight. Let's check in with Jennifer right now. Hey, Jennifer, congratulations on that win. You, Aaron, 1, 2, 3 at the top. Man, nice work. You didn't even have to, the three of you just blew everyone away.
Yeah, I think the guys let me have it there a little bit at the end. So thank you to them for that. But yeah, I'm just really proud of us. We got a good gap. I think I was a little bit worried. I think it was Nigel who was in 4th, and I thought he might use his comeback and get up to us, but it just didn't happen. So it was well raced.
Well, I would say that the guys didn't let you have it. That was teamwork. Physical equalization is at play, and you, huge props to you. There's a reason why you're being recruited by one of the top racers here in CVRcade, is because you have earned muster in that. Submerged Stadium, high skill event. What are we going to see from you and your Team Sloth? I'm just going to call it that for now until we come up with a better name.
Sure.
So only because he wore that t-shirt. What are we going to see?
Hopefully some drafting. This course isn't too long, but it's also not short. So I think he's been on keyboard before. I don't think it was this map, but we've done good work with the drafting before. So I think we have a good chance at this one as well. We'll see how it plays out. This is one of my favorite maps. The first time I raced it with my dad and we just dominated was really awesome. So this is one that matters a lot to me.
Well, we do have some strategy here that we need to talk about here. Minute 30 to go. We've got Razor's Edge. We've got, so how do you think that strategy, power plant, how do you think that's going to come into play?
I like to save my power-ups. I know there's some people who have preference of using them in the beginning. So I think we can see a lot of different uses, but I like to go hard and work and try to stay up with the people who have the power-ups without using mine. So we'll see if I can make that happen.
All right. Well, we've got just 1 minute to the race. Good luck to you, Jennifer. Let's go ahead and let's go ahead and check in with Aaron. Aaron, do you have any more of a juicy scoop on what's going? You were at the front end of that race. You, Timothy, and Jennifer. What is going on?
I don't know. Big surprise. I'm already tired. I probably won't even finish this next one because I'm dead. It's been a long break. But I guess if she's going to that team, I'm probably a free agent then. So I'm on team trash can. That's my team name.
Oh, no. You're going to do just great. Listen, you saved the last 20 seconds here to regroup. I know you're going to finish strong. This race also has some obstacles here. So be on the lookout for that. This is where strategy comes into play in lane position. Not only are you looking for the draft, you're also looking to avoid those obstacles. And savvy racers can put you on the rocks, can have you really on the ropes here. Out of the gate, it's fast. You can see the racers are a little bit invisible, semi-transparent there for 10 seconds because quantum shift is in play. It allows the racers to get in the lane position and establish where they want to be. Whoa, already seeing a crash. Jennifer goes down. Oh, took that corner just a little too hot there. You see Timothy coming around the corner there. Jennifer does need to make up some ground here, but we've got Nigel on the front, Homer in the race. There's Daniel. You can see Daniel, team cognition. There is a number of teams here on CVRcade, and we've been talking about the rosters being mixed up for the race 2020. We had a cycling hub domination. Whoa, another cognition rider, Homer, goes down. Speaking of roster changes there, you are on board here with Nigel, looking really strong here on the front. Luis is quickly trying to get on his heels, but he does have a second or two gap here. Frank right behind Luis. This is Luis here on board here. He is a team cognition rider. He does want to set a pace here, set a tone for cognition, because cognition is a super, super strong team. They have many tactics up their sleeve. I thought they were going to give Cycling Hub a little bit more static last season, so they've got a little bit more to make up here. So if you are like what you're seeing, like and follow CVRcade. Follow us. We race every Tuesday, every Thursday, right here on Mixer. You can see right now, side by side there, Jennifer Garcia and Nigel Doyle. You can see what they're seeing on their bikes. They're on smart trainers. They're on bikes. They're pedaling. Their power is translated into their avatar on the screen, and they are getting really heated up. They've got 5.7 kilometers to go, about 5 laps left here on this submerged stadium. And again, you do need to watch out for those different obstacles here. Jennifer is looking strong, back on board with Luis. Luis in the front here. Nigel just right behind him, making sure he doesn't want to lose that wheel. Jennifer drops her power up, razor's edge, and says, okay, guys, I'm coming. I'm going to make connection with the bots patrol. I'm going to hop on up to Frank, and I'm going to get back with Timothy because she's got a little bit of ground to make up. You can see that she is having a little bit of a conversation. She's in the team car. She's talking to her teammates. She needs to figure out what combination of moves is going to get her back. She's back now with Frank and Timothy. The three of those guys need to work together. But right now on the front is Luis and Nigel on his heels. Right now, Nigel, you can see on the helicopter view, is super close to the wheel of Luis. Right now, Nigel's benefiting from the draft, so he's finding a little bit more efficiency here. And that way, he can save a little bit in his legs. Now, if the two of these want to work together, they can trade pulls. But you can see that obstacle up the road. You can see right now, he's moving to the left, one moves to the right because they don't want to slam into that down pillar because they will crash. This is CVRcade Racing. If you're just joining us, welcome to the show. CVRcade.com. You can download the game. Even if you don't have a bike, you can check it out because you can play it on your keyboard. Soon it's coming to Xbox. You'll see it there too. But right now you can download this, play it on your PC, play it with your keyboard. And enjoy the races. We've had many races where we have had physical riders, like you're watching Jennifer here, and non-physical riders on keyboards racing together and having a ton of fun. So right now, Jennifer Garcia trying to make up some ground from an early crash, but it's Nigel and Luis that are on the front. Jennifer is tight with Frank. They've got about a 10-second gap. Frank, Timothy, this threesome, if they work together, if they're smart, they're going to be able to maybe make up some ground because there's still 4.2 kilometers left here. So right now they're talking through how are they going to use the peloton. Frank's on the front, Timothy behind. So Frank's going to give a big dig. He's going to give a big pull, 370, 67 equalized watts. You can see on the right-hand side of the nearby riders list that they're just working together. But if you're behind the front rider, you have a little bit more efficiency. This game, I can see, hey, Top Alexander 198. This game is coming to Xbox. It's currently on PC. You can download it at CVRcade.com. So you should check it out. PC and Mac both can play here. So back on the front part of the race here, you can see that Nigel and Luis are still playing a little bit of cat and mouse right now. Nigel up in front by a second, but Luis is not going to lose sight of that. He's going to try to dig in and make connection. One thing you need to know is that this race is one of 4 races for the Omnium. We are racing for an hour. This is the second race that you're watching. The first race was a no-skill event and had a different combination of power-ups that were on permanently, so they were abilities. This race, we have different obstacles that they need to steer around, and this particular race is a higher skill, so it's a higher multiplier. Hey, Fanta Fingers, you got some question marks here, CVRcade. Hey, Dragon2344, welcome to the stream here on Mixer with CVRcade. You're watching physical esports at its finest. I mean, these guys are, you can see Nigel here on just killing the pace on the front here. On the right-hand side, you can see the nearby riders list. His heart rate is 188. You can see the little green goes to red dials on the right-hand side. That tells you the relative physiological effort these guys are putting in to get that speed in game. Hey, young, pretty guapo, and Senor Largo. Hello, welcome, guys. Welcome to the show. We have right now on board with Nigel Doyle. You can see the Velocity Rixon rider, but we do have a chase pack here still of Frank, Timothy, and Jennifer trying to close that down, working together. They've got it within 6 seconds. They have closed it down a little bit here. So the 3 of these guys working together, 2.7 kilometers to go. Nigel is saying, see you later, Luis. You can let them catch you, but I'm not going to let them catch me. But these guys are making up some time. Here's Nigel on the front. Luis looks like he's letting him go, but Luis is going to get caught by the threesome. So, by not working together with Nigel, they've kind of like divided their efforts here. So he needs to get back, because you know that Nigel's not slowing down to bring him back, but I'm sure Nigel would be happy to work with him if Luis got up there, just to protect the position from Timothy and Jennifer and Frank, because it looks like these guys are really working together to close it down. So that might happen as well. Now, they do have power-ups in this race. They have a razor blade power-up, and they do have a power plant. Both of these work by you activate them in the game, and you with a razor blade, you go through the air, you cut through the air, you're more aerodynamic. With the power plant, you're given more watts, you're given more power on the pedals. There's Jennifer smiling, saying, okay, guys, what are we doing here? Stay organized, stay focused. Jennifer staying on the wheel. Right now, these racers are in game in audio. Hello, Dustalking, if I'm saying that correctly. And right now, they are all in team chat, talking about tactics, talking about how they're going to make up this time and try to really close down that gap. And they've been doing it. You can see that they've been doing it. Frank, Timothy, Jennifer, all within 2 seconds of Luis. Luis puts in a little dig here, 399 equal odds, but Nigel is 4 or 5 seconds up the road. You can see side by side here, these two racers. Nigel, it looks like the power plant is being used there by Luis to try to get to Nigel. And Nigel's just saying, I'm just hammering away. I don't want them. Come get me, Luis. Come on and get me. But I'm not slowing down to pull you back, because that gap has closed down to within 2 seconds with the threesome of, whoa, there goes Frank, goes down. The threesome is now a twosome. Jennifer, Frank, and and Timothy. Now it's just Timothy and Jennifer. So it's up to these two to finish the job. So I'm not sure. I didn't see that I saw it out of the corner of my eye. I didn't see, looked like Frank went a little bit too far to the right, but right now, Timothy on the front in the pink, Jennifer right on his wheel there, doing a little bit of recovery, 0.9 kilometers to go. They have just 3 or 4 seconds to get up to Luis. You can see Jennifer uses her power up because she's losing connection there with Timothy. Timothy saying, you can have my wheel. I'm going to push you on this. Stay with me like glue. And then he drops his power up, Razor's Edge. So she's going to benefit a little bit from his speed, tucking in. And then Luis here holding that position, holding them off by the skin of his teeth. But Timothy does come around Luis side by side here. Does he bring Jennifer? Jennifer's right behind him. So Luis says, I've worked this hard the whole race all by myself. You had teammates working together. I am not going to give this up. That's determination on his face. Meanwhile, Nigel, 7 seconds up the road, 400 equalized watts, 194 on his heart rate. So again, Mixer, if you're just joining us, thank you, Saviv. Savi, this is cool. This is like beyond cool. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching here. These racers are on bikes. They're going to come 1.1 kilometers to go before we see Nigel here come across the line, power up, a little razor blade, a little combo there, power combo. Yeah, there's my favorite dance, my man. All right, fantastic effort on that, on the front the whole way. Luis does manage to come and hold off Jennifer and Timothy, but they were right on his heels right to the end here. So these racers so close. And then here we are back on board with Daniel, watching the finish here of Daniel on course here. This was quite a race here. Frank, Timothy, and Jennifer were the headline, trying to close it down. They did end up closing it down to Luis, but Luis was able to maintain his position and hold that second spot. So going into the next race here, starting in just about 5 minutes, is Temple Run, and the racers will be doing 6 laps Oh, that just hurts. Trust me. And I know that it hurts because I felt it. Here is the replay of Timothy when he made that close. And then Nigel still far enough up the road here, coming around the final couple bends here to actually close out the race and hold on to it. So he managed to maintain that position throughout the front, held Luis. Luis tried to counter. He held Luis off, got a gap on Luis, and just TT'd to the end. Nigel, how you feeling after that effort?
Warmed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations. Did you save anything for Temple Run? Right now, you're at the top of the board.
Yeah, this is going to be tough. 4 laps. I think this could be a good one to sit in with the bots, and then maybe on the last lap, go for it.
Yeah, well, it's definitely you've got wind at your back. You've got an uncrashable and you've got a weight lifted. I think just one uncrashable, 2 of each of the others here. 4 laps. You got to spread them out over the 4 laps. Any strategy that you're thinking? Now, you don't have a teammate in here. Who?
No, just hang on to them as long as you can, and save them for the end if you need them.
Hang
Or
on
if
as
you
long
get
as you
dropped.
can. Yep, I hear that. Now there is also wind out on course, and I know you've raced this. We've raced this course many times before, and the descent can be tricky. How are you feeling about the descent?
Oh, I did it this morning in Zone K. It was okay. I think the wind is only 4 kilometres an hour, so it's not very strong. So pretty much
All right.
usual corner speeds. Yeah.
Usual corner speeds. Well, listen, just over a minute and a half to go. I'll let you catch your breath, but I want to check in with Jennifer, who did that massive effort with Timothy. You weren't able to catch Nigel, but you, Timothy, and Frank were totally doing some killer teamwork there. Tell me how that felt.
That felt awesome. If I hadn't crashed, I was hoping to have a little bit more energy, just to have a fun sprint with Luis at the end. But I didn't get to it, which is unfortunate. But I'm surprised. This is the first time ever in Cade that I've crashed and I've gotten back to like a middle pack. So that's really exciting. My dad and Timothy helping really made it possible to kind of shorten the gap from the leaders, even though we couldn't catch them. So again, well raced. Yeah, tonight's going pretty well.
Well, you are sitting second in the leaderboard after 2 and right behind Nigel. You're just about 5 points behind Nigel coming into Temple Run, just over 30 seconds. I will let you regroup and gain, get yourself back in the team chat so you can talk strategy. Good luck to you, and good luck to all the racers here. Thank you all for joining us in the Mixer chat here. It looks like we've got a number of people who are ready to be racing with us, have lots of questions. You go ahead and fire them in there. I know we've got our moderator talking about giving you some tips and stuff, but who are you reading for here? We've got Nigel up front, we've got Jennifer in second, we've got Timothy in third, followed by Louise, Homer, then Frank. Tell me who your favorite racer is. I'll give them a shout out. That way they can hear you, because I can tell you that it makes a huge difference when you're racing and you know that someone is rooting for you. So this would be really, really fun to take the wager and see. So again, high skill event here. There is not the uncrashable ability, which means that if the racers go too fast in a corner, if they change lanes into another rider, if they overlap their wheels, if they slide out in a corner, then they will crash out. So what they need to do is they have to know these tracks. So these racers aren't just physically racing, and they're also so mentally engaged because they need to really know the tracks. There's a lot of recon that goes by, because it's not just like, oh, this corner speed is 36 kph. Each particular lane has a max. So if you're in the second lane, you need to know the max of what the second lane is. If you're in the third lane, you need to know what the the max of the third lane is. So what you're not seeing is how incredibly technical it is, and the level of skill that you're seeing right here is intense. So right now we are on board with Luis, our rider here on the front, absolutely digging it. 412 equalized watts right there. No surprise. Nigel is with him. Jennifer is right there. The whole group there at the front here. I think that this is what happens in CVRcade. You heard on board here with Jennifer, you heard Nigel say that he might do the bot patrol, but then what happens is someone gets ahead of them and you are like, nope, I need to chase shiny things. I can't let anyone get away, because once they get away, sorry, they are gone. Yes, this is CVRcade, my pet monsters. Thank you. My pet monsters. Sorry, my glasses were not on. Welcome to you. Thank you for joining the broadcast. This is CVRcade Racing. This is physical esports at its finest. All of these racers, you can see there Jennifer on screen. She is riding a bike. The power that she's putting on the pedals are translating to speed in the game. And these avatars that you see are all being powered by other riders in the game. And what can happen here is they have power-ups because this particular track is configured with 1 wind at your back, 2 wind at your back, and 1 weight lifted. So what can happen here is if you're on a climb and you use weight lifted, you'll be a little bit lighter, so you'll move a little bit faster. If you're on a flat, that particular power-up will give you a little bit more acceleration. Like right now, you can see here that Luis is trying to get back to that group. He's at the first lap of 4, so he's not needing to use a power-up to get back to close that gap. This is his point of view. He can see those racers up ahead of him. What he needs to do is he needs to put a little bit more pressure on the pedal, get himself back in the peloton, because all of those racers that aren't on the front are benefiting from the draft. You know, if you're driving down the street and you stick your hand out the window and you feel the wind, that wind is created by you moving through the air. So the dynamics in the game are just like that. The bike is moving through its environment. Wind is hitting it. And so if you're on the front, you are hitting all of that wind. So, and if you're behind those racers, you're being a little bit sheltered from that wind and having a more efficient ride. So right now, Nigel on the front, putting on a little bit of dig here, 184 on his heart rate. He just put in a massive effort on Submerged Stadium, the second race in the Omnium, but now we are on to race 3 of 4 races in this Omnium. We raced earlier today. We had a zone K, we had a zone L, and that's 2 p.m., 1 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Eastern. We have all of these races on CVRcade Riders. If you're interested, you can find that on Facebook, but of course you can also follow us here, like and follow us here, but we race every Tuesday and Thursday and Saturday. All right, back on board with Jennifer. You can see she's got herself in a nice position there behind Frank with Timothy. She's surrounding herself with allies. Timothy moves to the front. Now, Timothy Termont in the pink there. He used to wear a different kit in game. His skin was a cycling hub skin. Cyclists call it kits. I know gamers call it skins, but we have different skins in the game for different teams. So that is not his usual skin, but it is for today and this week because he's made a roster change. And that's really big news because Timothy is one of the top riders. We just came off of a tournament that these racers made $25,000 total in prize purses, and he was at the top of the heap. So him changing games and aligning with Jennifer, who you see there on screen, is really a big news. And also another change here is from Nigel, who has also changed teams as well. So we're watching CVRcade. I'm going back to the chat that I didn't know this was a thing. Do they have control? Yes. Okay. So they have control of the speed. They can also turn left and right. And that is not automatic. A lot of these racers actually have controllers mounted to their handlebars and press a button to go left and right. So it's very intuitive. You can also turn left and right using your keyboard arrows. You can use the down key to slow down. And there are times that you do want to slow down, and that is an art of itself, is slowing down enough into a corner and not over slowing down to the corner. I hope that answered your question. Keep on bringing the questions. I will do my best to follow the action as well as give you the thing. So this is achieved by pressing buttons. Thank you, CVRcade mod. I appreciate that for all of that help. So these racers are also equalized. What does equalized mean? It means that Jennifer Garcia has a top effort that she can sustain at different time intervals. It means that Nigel Doyle has a different effort that he can sustain at different time levels. And that becomes into a power curve. And these power curves are normalized to each other so that it doesn't matter your age, your gender, your how long you've been playing. You can come into the game, you can learn the skills, you can learn the tracks, you can get stronger, and the game keeps track of your progress. So you continually are upping your level of play, you're upping your level of gaming. So it in your physical fitness, we have many riders and racers in here that have actually, like, in 3 months' time lost like 40 pounds and become so strong and fit. Every person in this game has a different story to tell. We are not all from the background of cycling. We all come from different walks of life, and that's what makes it really, really fun. So what you can do is you can join CVRcade. You can download the game. You can like and follow us here, back on board here, looking at side by side with Jennifer and Nigel together here. There are just about 6 seconds apart here. Jennifer did make a little bit of a gap on Frank, Luis a little bit further. So we did get a little bit strung out here on course here, but that is not surprising. And what can happen in this course, you've got Nigel, you've got Jennifer, you've got Frank, you've got Luis, is someone could make a mistake and somebody could have a crash. And when you make a crash, when you lose control and you lose your head a little bit, you lose some time. So you do see some crashing out on course here. So this game is on PC. It is on Mac, and also will be coming to Xbox. And we're really super excited about that because we know that a lot of our friends and family are just eager to get in on the Xbox and race alongside us. I know my kids would they don't like to see me like sweat and become all gross, but they wouldn't mind kicking my butt playing Xbox, or they do the same at Fortnite. So it's a lot of fun here to have a multiplayer environment with people who are all playing from different devices and having a really good time. So all of these riders are, whoa, there goes Timothy. He did take that a little too hot. You can see a replay here. Luis on Timothy's heel, but he does have that power up activated. And what ends up happening is he overcooks the corner right here. Watch him go in slow-mo and boom. So he did activate his weight lifted power up. I wasn't sure. I couldn't tell by the animation if it was also his wind at his back. If it was the combo. It got him too fast. It did crash him out, but Nigel still in the front by 10 seconds here. So 13.4 kilometers to go. There's a reason why this one is two times multiplier, because this is a long technical race. And so right now, Nigel sitting at the front, looking really strong repping for Velocity, Vixen Fox here. This racer, he's talking to me. I don't know what he's saying. I don't know if we want to open his mic up and see if he has some words. Hey, Nigel, your mic's
I don't
open.
feel whatever you said, I don't feel it.
All right, go back to saving your breath. Whatever I say, you don't feel it. I'm just going to say Nigel's feeling super strong. He's just, this is what you have to tell yourself, man. You've got this. Jennifer's feeling super strong. She's got those Sonic Hedgehog shoes on that she decorated by hand. She got some new kicks that are going to make her feet fast. And they're paying off tonight, Jennifer. That's all I've got to say is second place to Nigel is something to brag about. And I know that you're not one to brag and you like to give props to your teammates and others, but you are earning it. We've got Nigel in front. Looks like Frank is closing down the gap though. So Nigel's got to keep the pressure on. Luis is trying to make up that time here. If you look in the nearby riders list, Luis has 386, 400 equalized watts. You can see on the heart rate odometer, if you want to call it that, the heart rate odometer is really what you're looking at here for the relative physiological effort. Like, what does it take for these guys to do it. Now, the top number is 200 on their heart rate. So if you were to like sprint down the track, go as fast as you can, and your heart's pounding out of your chest and it can't go any higher, that's your max heart rate. And Luis just comes around the inside of Jennifer, does not want to lose his momentum. Jennifer was kind enough not to execute a brake check. We've seen some of that happen in racing. She's being very mindful there of the longer term arc of the game playing, because if she brake checks someone tonight, they're going to brake check her another night. And she said, nope, go ahead, Louise, go around. But back to the heart rate. So if you sprinted as hard as you can, and that was your max heart rate, would be 200 in the game, whether it was 190, 180, 170, 160. Again, it normalizes it so that you can actually know how hard the other racers are working for you. So right now, Nigel 190, Homer 186, Luis 192. So they are all in the hurt locker. They are so killing themselves. So, all right. So Nigel goes under the waterfall, uses his wind at his back, gives himself a little bit of push here. What he knows there is the road flattens out and then it turns down. If he can use the power-ups at the top of the rise, when it gets flat, he can make up more time while the riders behind him are climbing, right? So think of it like an elastic band. You've got people up climbing up a hill. They're going a little bit slower to you. You get to the top of the hill. You get to use that flat little running room and get as much of a break as you can. And that gap that Frank had made up for 5 seconds is now down to 10 seconds because he was able to utilize that power up and just get a little bit more distance between him and Frank. So that's experience that you're seeing in the game. And you can't tell me that's not true, Nigel. That's experience in the game. That's knowing the tracks. That's knowing how the power-ups work. That's some excellent, excellent racing here. Does it normalize for people who go over 200 on the heart rate? Yes. Hey, Hall Rock, it does. So the game is constantly tracking your heart rate. And if you go over 200, because you'll see that sometimes with the new riders, you'll see a new rider go like 220. It's because the game hasn't yet gathered enough information. So I was off for a little bit and my fitness was down and I like blasted to 201. And then the next time the game goes in, it recalibrates knowing what your highest heart rate was. Hey, Lil White 19, thanks for joining. And I'm glad you guys are in the chat, hanging out with us here in CVRcade. We are in race 3 of a 4-race Omnium on CVRcade Racing Physical Esports. You can see these racers on their bikes traveling through this virtual world that we've created. This one is Temple Run. Earlier we saw Dark Matter Tech, which is sort of like a fantasy high-tech, futuristic looking world. We saw Submerged Stadium. This is another one. And then we have another country rally coming up that is a shorter track with some obstacles that's super technical. So this is a long slog of a climb coming up, some obstacles on the way down. Some corner speeds you do have to be mindful of, but these racers have been racing for about 3 or some even 6 months here. Right now, there's a leaderboard there. You've got Nigel in the front there, total so far. Jennifer coming in second so far in the Omnium, and Luis in third. So if everyone finishes in the position where they are right now, that's the seeding as we go into the 4th and final race of the Omnium tonight. All of these racers are super experienced. They do a lot of recon on the tracks. They practice because you can go in and play the game non-physically. You can practice and test the corner speeds, but it is a little bit different when you're on your bike, because it's like driving a car. What does it feel like to brake at the right time? What does it feel like to change lanes at the right time? So all of those nuances get tuned in. You can I usually do a couple laps recon on a keyboard, check out the corner speeds, and then I go and ride it. It saves me a little bit of time and a little bit of legs, because once you're in, you get so addicted. It's just insane. So we are halfway through 9.4 kilometers in this race. So 2 laps to go. These guys are going to be so exhausted when they get to Country Rally. That's going to be so amazing to see what they bring into that. But hey, thanks, Tanner. I appreciate that. Tanner C17, great job announcing. Oh, I'll take that. Thank you so much. I hope you're enjoying it. If you have any questions, please, please let me know. I'll do my best to answer it. I know some of you guys haven't seen this type of racing before. You're watching right now Jennifer Garcia on screen there. Jennifer is teamed up with the Pink Panther tonight, who is not the Pink Panther. It's Timothy Termont, who used to be formerly in a different kit, but now he's making an alliance, at least for this evening, with Jennifer. So we'll see if this is something that's going to stick. Now, one of the highest skilled racers back on board with Luis, who is closing onto Homer's wheel and trying to get that draft. Homer Thompson was absolutely on fire. One of our regular racers was absolutely on fire on Tuesday night. Back in right now, these two team riders are probably practicing some tactics, because this is the run up to the next season. And we just finished a season where $25,000, yes, 25 with 3 zeros, was awarded to these racers over the course of the World Cup. And I've heard rumors it's going to be more. I don't know what it is. I don't have any insight into what the actual, but we know it's not going to be less than $25,000 again. And this is going to be taking place over a couple of run-up races, and it's going to be taking place over, the next 8 or 10 weeks. When we start, it takes about 8 or 10 weeks, and these racers will be racing for points each week to try to get seeding into a grand finale, and they will be racing for massive prize purses. So get that draft. Yes, that's right, Tay Feelers. Welcome to our broadcast. I know you're here. It's love to have you in the broadcast as always. And then let's see, was there this? How does it know how hard they're pedaling? Okay, so these guys have either smart trainers or power meters. What does that mean? The smart trainer, you put your bike, you take off the wheel, you put the wheel on it, and it has resistance, and it's actually measuring the pressure that you put on the pedals in the simplest sense. They do it in different ways. That is communicated via Bluetooth or ANT to the game. The game says, oh, you just put this many watts. It's expressed in watts. That you put this many watts in, this many watts translates into this much speed. So the harder you're working, the faster you should be going. And again, with the caveat that all of these racers are equalized. Okay, let's look like, oh my goodness, Nigel, he is overtaken by Frank as I'm explaining the trainer nuances here. About 4 or 5 seconds, Frank does come around 367. It doesn't look like Frank is wearing a heart rate monitor, so I'm not sure how that will work. One of the things that as the game is also registering your power, it's registering your heart rate, so that it actually does the calculus to know, hey, you know what? This is the way this racer rides. It keeps track of everything. So maybe he had a technical difficulty with his heart rate monitor. Sometimes the battery dies. They're used to getting soaking wet, so it can't be wet. Oh, keyboard. Oh yeah, he is on keyboard. I see that, Nigel. Now I gotta put my glasses on, man. Oh my god. Okay, Beth, I'm gonna take all that nice words back about the commentator. She didn't see the little icon. If you look, it's really tiny underneath. You can tell what the power source is. So Frank is racing on a keyboard. So if you do want to join, you can join these races on keyboard here in these run-up races. I'm not sure in the World Cup proper how that will be working, but right now you can see that's going on. So Nigel is the physical rider that's in the top spot, and Frank is on keyboard, which is so cool to be able to like race physical and non-physical. So what did I miss? Did I finish the question here? The keyboard racing is exhausting, Timothy Termont. I don't know how Timothy is typing. The keyboard racing is exhausting while he's laying down those watts. Timothy, you are just crazy good, crazy awesome. Here we are back on board with Luis. Speaking of crazy awesome, Luis is absolutely killing himself here. He is right now moving himself into third on the leaderboard by taking the position position. He's in front of Timothy. He's in front of Jennifer. So he's stealing some points from Jennifer. Jennifer came in to this race in second place behind Nigel. She does need to finish a little bit further up. It looks like Timothy's trying to help her out there. But you can see here on the leaderboard, if the finishing positions are as we see them now in the nearby riders list, you can see that it's Nigel, Frank, and then Luis. So Nigel's still in the top spot despite being taken over from Frank, because he did scoop up enough points in the earlier racing to be in the leadership position there by about 20 points. So yes, last CVRcade, the keyboard racing. Yes, I just can't believe it. Yes, My Pet Monsters, 25,000. That's true. That is true. We confirmed it, and it was like, boom, we got 5,000 to our champion, and Timothy Tremont might have been one of those winners that got $3,000 or $4,000. I'm pretty sure he did. But anyway, oh, thanks. This is appreciate that, My Pet Monsters. We hope that you can join on some more of the broadcasts. You can come check us out. Go to CVRcade.com. Download the game. Come in and play with us. You don't have to just watch. You should download the game and play. Have a good time. Again, you just need a PC or a Mac. It is coming to Xbox, but you can play with this on your PC. Yes, Hall Rock, you do need to look at getting into this. It is so much fun, and oh my gosh, it's so addicting. It is so addicting. I can't even tell you. Like I just upgraded my internet. I don't come from a gaming background. I mean, shoot, I used to play console games when I was a kid. Life gets in the way. You get busy. You just leave it behind. And this has just brought back like so much fun and so much memories of playing games when I was a kid. And I'm a super fitness nut. I need a physical outlet, and this is exercise. It's fun. Whoa, look at that. That must have been a bot. That was a bot. We do have some bots in the race here that are not so bright sometimes. So it's fun to watch them wipe out. All right. So back on board here with Nigel. Nigel is going to just kind of keep cruising along. 4.5 kilometers to go for Nigel. Again, Frank's a little bit up the road. He, even despite the fact that Frank's on a keyboard holding down 366 watts, Nigel is holding down 340 watts. So what is the number of 367? So 367 is kind of like a magic number in the game. And it's kind of a reference point mathematically. Like if you were to we were talking about the power that you're putting on your pedals. Right now, Luis is putting power on the pedals. It's translating into speed in the game. But if Luis were to go as hard as he could without stopping for 20 minutes, whatever that measurement of watts was, that average watts for 20 minutes would equal some number. Let's say it's, 350. But the game says, nope, we're going to call that 367. Let's say I do that same test and I'm at like 220. And then the game says, oh, nope, you're 367. So basically you can tell if someone's at their max by that number. And it's kind of a reference point, just like the heart rate. So we know, and all that translates into speed. And I'm watching speed in the game more than I'm watching the power sometimes. I mean, I'm watching for physical clues, like does the racer come up out of the saddle? Like I was racing earlier today and I was like, oh, looks like he's coming up out of the saddle. He's going to put a little dig in. So you're watching for physical clues. You're watching for the spikes in the power. But you really do need to watch those speeds in the game here. So let's see. All right, on Xbox. So it looks like the mod has popped in and said that we've got closed beta. So you can go ahead and register on that. So we can play the game physically and non-physically if you're just joining us and if you're wondering how, Sick Ghoul 64. So we can play this game right now on PC or Mac using your keyboard. And that is what Frank is doing at the front of the race. He is playing on his keyboard, left arrow, right arrow, down arrow. So you use your keyboard controls to move through the game. And it's a lot more technical than it looks because the corners have max speeds. You can't overlap wheels. There's different power-ups in play. There's different supers that we use. Sometimes we have them on permanently, and those supers, instead of being a power-up, become an ability. So there's a lot of different ways that you can play the game, and it's super fun when your legs are tired or you have a cold like I do, and you can just go in there and still hang out with your friends and play the game and not have to turn yourself inside out like Nigel is doing right now. It's It's super fun. So hopefully you can check it down. Yeah, it is worth saying that we do have different themes. This is one of our more traditional road cycle bikes here. You can see here Nigel's using his combination power up, both wind at his back and weight lifted. The way those two supers work is wind at your back gives him a little bit of push, because right now he's got a little bit of a headwind. So give him a little bit of push to compensate on that. He's climbing. He's got an incline. I think at this part of the road, it's maybe 2 or 3%. It's not super steep, but it's enough. So he does activate a little weight lifted. It makes him a little bit lighter. It's easier to move less weight up a mountain a little bit if you're lighter. You're not carrying as many rocks on your back. But Nigel was also one of our standouts in the CVRcade racing, the World Cup in the fall. Made it to the grand finale. Just completely has been working his craft and working his magic, and it's been so fun to watch. He's even got his own signature dance moves, and we've been really enjoying him on stream week after week. Luis looks like down the way there is activating one of his power-ups here. Trying to make up some time here, trying to hold that position, making sure that he's just saying, I've got the power ups. We've got just, a little under, but a little over 2 kilometers to go. I'm going to do what I can to try to maintain my position. I want to keep Timothy. I don't think at this point, Timothy and Jennifer right now, I think Timothy and Jennifer are in chat with Frank going, okay, this is what we're going to do on Country Rally. Okay, this is how we're going to play it. Because remember, we have one more race to go after this in this 4-race omnium. So we have 4 races every time we do. It's called an omnium. The races range from a no skill to a high skill, and there are point multipliers for each of those races, and you'll see that in the scoreboard as they come down. So right now, if everyone were to finish the way they were finishing going into the next race, we have 133, Nigel sitting at 133, Frank 113, Jennifer 110, and Luis at 110. It does look like Luis is moving his way up the leaderboard by finishing in front of Timothy and Jennifer. So right now we're on board with Nigel, the newly minted Velocity Vixen rider. He said his kit's in the mail. We can't wait to see it on stream, the orange and purple. Sorry, that happens to be my team. So, I'm trying to be objective. I'm just saying. But all of these riders have teams and they have different skins in the game. So you're seeing their skins in the game, which is what I was talking a little bit earlier about, seeing Timothy Termont in a pink skin when usually he used to have a different team. But right now, while he's in between teams, while he's deciding what he's doing, while he's out recruiting the likes of Jennifer and working with Frank, it'll be interesting to see how that team evolves. 0.7 kilometers to go for Nigel Doyle. He's only going to have 3 short laps on Country Rally coming up next. I say that 3 short laps. I know how it felt after 4 laps of Temple Run, my friend. So just get yourself across the line and do whatever you need to regroup. And I'm not sure if we can get back on board with Jennifer here. It looks like I'm just trying to see if they are actually, they're just kind of coming across. They're talking, figuring things out, deciding what they're going to do at the top of Temple Run here. All right, we'll go back with Nigel there to see the finish of the race. 0.2 kilometers to go here. Nigel here, final corner. This has a max corner speed. It's burned me before. He doesn't have anyone clipping on his heels. Frank is at the front here. He's come through that last corner. Frank does the lap here, the finish. He closed the gap on Nigel. I was slow on the uptake, Frank. I didn't see the keyboard there until Nigel gave me the clue. But there we go. Here comes his dance. Don't let me down, Nigel. Second is, you're still at the top of the board. I just want to see. There it is. There it is, my friend. Yeah. All right. All of these racers that come out to stream have just dynamic personalities, and I love to see them. Here we are, Luis, Team Cognition rider, an absolute monster, was scooped up immediately when he came into the game. He started playing CVRcade, and I don't know, must have been maybe 10 seconds before Team Cognition was like scooping him up. I was joking that Team Cognition has like a some sort of a magic like recruiter form that like as soon as they get some text notification notification that there's a new player in game, and you know, it's like, what? So anyway, yes, this is a thing, Rockwood 610. People playing a game, racing. This is esports. This is physical esports. And this is just these racers having fun, playing video games. Sick Ghoul 64, you can go to CVRcade.com. We have trainer bundles if you're interested in seeing, depending on, you know, we have a number of different levels, you know, an entry level one, a more advanced level one. So you can do that. Check them out on our website, CVRcade. They'll give you all the specifics on what you need, a trainer, if you need a bike. If you have a bike at home, you can stick that bike on a trainer and connect to the game. And there's also videos on CVRcade.com that talk you through how to get started on the platform. But of course, we're always here. Support is super awesome to get you set up. Here is the replay, my favorite dance move there from my friend Nigel, bringing it down and back here on board with Luis here, fixing his trainer himself. We've got about 4 minutes before the next event starts. You can see here, this was the final replay on course here, Frank taking it across. I'm talking in the video, but I'm saying something different right now. See if I can make my lips match the replay. That would be pretty funny if I could actually repeat exactly what I just said. Frank comes across the line for the win, and then Nigel comes for a second here. On the leaderboard, we've got Nigel, Jennifer, Frank. I think that's what it did update. I'm not sure if that's correct, but we'll get the final say on that. Hey, Bertain, thank you. This is awesome. Hey, Taz GG, this is very cool. Thank you. Nigel is a streamer at heart. He totally is. And his personality has been coming out. All of our racers, you know, we come from different backgrounds and we're new. You know, some of us aren't streamers to start with, and we become streamers, and we look forward to being a part of the race, being part of the story. You know, and Homer, let's check in. How are you feeling after that massive effort?
Oh, stuffed. Stuffed.
You have a lot of fans in the chat. Go Nigel. You know, like that you're a natural streamer at heart. You know, letting your personality out while you're laying it out on the line. Are you having a good time? It seems like you're having a good time.
Yeah, it's one of these ones where when you're doing it, you think, why didn't I take up golf? But then when you've finished and had a shower and sitting down, you actually feel $1 million. You know, you're really, you know, alive.
That is true. That's a really good way to describe it. All the endorphins, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Well, you're at the top of the leaderboard. You've got Frank, you know, and you've got Luis there. Tell me, going into Country Rally, we've seen these technical courses. What are the secrets to the technical courses?
Well, you've got to watch out for there's a corner coming into the barn. It's the trickiest corner. And then going through the barn, the biggest thing is at the start, the congestion and crashing into other riders. So you've got to be really careful. You either need to be out in front or you need to sit back, one of the two. But if you're in the blob, it can get really dangerous. You know, you try to change lanes to get through the barn and then through the hay bales. And if there's somebody next to you, you crash.
Well, it does get pretty congested in there. We've got 1:30 to go. You're at the top. I know you knew how to race this. Wishing you good luck. I'll let you catch your breath and get back to it. Let's check in with Luis. We hadn't checked in with Luis, who's made his way up the leaderboard. Hey, Luis, how are you tonight?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Good. Welcome to 2020.
I know. Yeah, I missed the last race on Tuesday, but I was like, I gotta make it to this one.
We're so glad you did. You really brought back some more strength there in Temple Run. You didn't have your teammate. Looks like Daniel might have had some internet issues, or but you didn't. You found yourself alone on Temple Run without Daniel or Modi or Allison. I know that's a different thing. Coming into Country Rally, how are you going to play this?
I think Nigel was giving some good tips to everyone. That's pretty much what you gotta do. So I'm gonna try to go from the get-go, see if I can get a good position, see that I have Razor's Edge and Uncrashable. So those will be good for the hay bale. So we'll see how it goes. Give it a try.
Well, good luck to you. You've got 10 seconds to go here before the start. I'm sorry to keep you talking right to the end. I know that's often not fair. Out of the gate, these guys go in 3, 2, 1. On the front here, the first 10 seconds of each of these races, we do have Quantum Shift in play as an ability just for those 10 seconds. And what that does is it allows all of Luis there. Boom! He says, okay, Nigel, I'll take it. Yes, but Nigel is what Tag says, man, everyone's cool. But Nigel's number one. But right now we saw him use the Uncrashable out of the gate. As Nigel said, the barn is the first corner that is the most tricky, that you do need to watch out for. And that does give Luis about, hey, Aaron, how are you doing there? He's got the headphones off. He's like, I'm not even going to listen to you. But he's in third right behind Nigel, trying to give him a run for his money there. But Luis said, I'm going to use the power up Razor's Edge right out of the gate. Makes me as thin as a razor. I cut through the air. I slice through the air. I get up to speed. I'm going to use my Uncrashable so I don't have to slow down on that first corner. And what that did is it gave him a 5-second lead. Now, 5 seconds is enough that Nigel can still make up with 2.8 kilometers to go. But again, this is one of the mountain bike courses. I know Tag Z, you were talking about, I think that Taz GG, you were talking about mountain biking, and you're mountain biking. I'm sorry that your bike got lifted. That sucks. But that we do, this is one of our mountain bike courses, the tracks that we ride on, and it has the obstacles, there's logs. And so you can check out these courses, and you really do have to avoid them. There is skill. And I know we don't usually talk about it, but there's actually like a bunny hop, I think, in the game too, a super secret Easter egg from the game developers that once in a while we'll see someone execute a bunny hop, which is pretty fun. On board here with Daniel, one of the Team Cognition riders here. He's got Luis also further up the way. Daniel, it's so good to have you on stream. I know he's been trying to sort his internet. We all have over the time here to be one of our regular streamers. Team Cognition rider. Again, Daniel was on the platform for like 10 hot seconds, and then wisely Team Cognition scooped him up. He's proven to be just a solid racer, a strong racer. But we do see that Nigel does use his power-up, his Uncrashable power-up, to try to make up that gap to Luis, and he does within 1-2 seconds here. He's back. Nigel is on fire tonight. He is absolutely destroying, but Luis is like, no, man, I'm gonna try. Like Luis is trying to mount his comeback here. So he came in, he sort of had a slow burn, he had a slower start, has moved his way up, took a lot of points on Temple Run, took a lot from Jennifer, who was coming in the first half of the Omnium strong, and he just chipped away at it a little bit. And I've been in that position before where I do well in the first race, the second race, and then someone does something in the third and fourth race that you just didn't expect, and take some points away from you and push you further down the board. And that's the way the points multipliers work, because the point multipliers rewards different skills, rewards different abilities. So if you're a short racer, I think I saw someone there in the chat tag, maybe it was Taz GG, that said, oh, you long racers, there are long races and there are short races. This is one of the short technical races. We've got just 1.3 kilometers to go here. So this is a technical course. The Omnium rewards not just distance and duration, it rewards skill. So the multiplier on this track is 2.5. So this multiplier is higher, despite the course being much shorter, because of the technical racers. Do the bike bikers use enhancers? I'm not sure if I asked the answer. Oh, any Armstrongs? No. I'm not sure what you're asking me here. But all of these racers have different skills and abilities, and they understand the track. So it's race recon. It's knowing what lane to be in. It's choosing the right wheels to follow. It's not getting stuck behind the bots. As you can see that just Nigel just came around the congestion without a lot of fuss, no muss. But Frank again on his wheels, on his keyboards, giving him a little bit of push, saying, "I'm coming to get you." And Luis there, right with Frank, saying, "Okay, all right, Frank, give me a little bit of a pull here." If Luis can get closed up onto Frank's wheel, he might have a chance to overcome, because I think he does have another. He did use his Razor's Edge. He may only have one Razor's Edge here. What? Yes, it is just one on Crashball, one Razor's Edge. So he does need to watch it. But I don't think Frank has used his yet. I haven't seen the Frank that used it, but I know Nigel used his out of the, Luis used his out of the gate. So I'm not sure if Frank has something left. So Nigel and Luis here side by side on your screen. Luis in the cognition kit on the left-hand side, the cognition kit, and then Nigel on the right-hand side here. This is going to be the big finish. Nigel and Frank, 1 second. Is Frank going to be able to come around and take him? No, Frank ends up crashing into one of the logs, and boom, another one of the moves there from Nigel, who takes the Omnium. Luis finishes in a close second race. Frank doesn't take the points away from Luis, because Frank ends up crashing there at the end. So at the end of the day here, we're back on board with a smiling Aaron. I think he might have sat out Temple Run. I was might not have been calling his name. Nice job, Aaron. Really well done. What do you mean by equalized? Clutch God. All right, I'm going to make sure I answer that question as I watch Daniel come across the line. So equalized. I'm a racer. My max effort at 20 minutes, my max effort at 1 minute, my max effort at 3 minutes is different from Jennifer's. It's different from Luis's. What I can do for my strength and my fitness is different than other riders. So the fitness is not equalized, but the strength is equalized. So that means that Jennifer and I can race each other, even though she might be faster outside on a bike. Nigel and I can ride together in race together, even though we have different max abilities. So that's what we mean by equalized, and it's equalizing our power curve so that we all can compete together here. This is the replay. You can see Aaron was having lots of fun at the front end of the race, holding on to Nigel's wheel. Again, Nigel's been riding a long time. Aaron's newer to cycling. As Aaron gets stronger, the game continues to read out his power over different time durations and time intervals, and that will sort of match him up. So once he gets stronger, the game knows he gets stronger and equalizes them so that they can still compete on a level playing field. But fitness level does make a difference, because the more you play, the more fit you get, and the more times you can go to the well, right? You don't run out of energy. And that's one of the things these racers like Nigel knows. He's been in the game, not just the game, but like he understands his physiological makeup, and he knows how deep he can go again and again. And that comes from training. Yes, and I can see the mod is saying lots of physics. I'm not going to explain it in physics. I was just trying to keep it in the terms that I understand, but everybody can play and race and ride together. Nigel, congratulations.
Oh, yeah, thanks. No, very pleased with that. Why can't all my races be like that?
Sometimes the CVRcade gods will shine upon you, Nigel. And you were magical.
Yeah, no, very pleased with that. I mean, I think I surprised myself. I thought after, Submerged Stadium, I thought that was it. So to be able to hang in there in Temple Run and then take out this last one, I'm very pleased.
Well, congratulations. You really did a wonderful job. We will maybe hopefully see you on Saturday racing as well. I can't wait to see you in your new kit. Lots of shakeups. I'm sure your Velocity teammates are super psyched to have you here. Congrats. Way to represent. Let's check in with Luis, who made himself climb up. Hey, Luis. Well done. Those last two races, just climbing the leaderboard. Well done.
Yeah, man. The Submerged Stadium and Temple Run, those races felt like forever. Like when I finished the first lap on Temple Run, I was like, oh my gosh, we have 3 more of this. But yeah, it was great. I felt good, and it's great to go back to racing. And I'm really excited about the new season. And I'm gonna try to even join some of your rides and reps to get more familiar with the tracks and stuff. I just gotta listen to my alarm clock at 5:30 time and crawl out of bed. But yeah, it's I'm really excited. I think it's gonna be a great season.
Well, I'll be really looking for you, for anyone else who's listening who can join. We do a Rise and Rip ride on Monday and Friday mornings as 5:35 Pacific Standard Time. You're welcome to join on keyboard as well. So download the game tonight. Join me tomorrow morning, 5:35 a.m. PST. Get in game with the keyboard. We'll talk some tracks. I'll walk you through the UI, and we'll get some practice in. And Luis, well done. I think this bodes well for team cognition for this season. So congratulations. I'll check in quickly with Jennifer before we go. Jennifer, you still there?
Hi. Yes, I am.
Hi. Well done. Congratulations. You held that podium spot. Congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah, I didn't even realize. Timothy messaged me and was like, "Their place, very nice." So I was like, I'm never paying attention. And my dad was helping me out. It was great teamwork all around. It was a good day from start to finish. I'm really happy right now. So
you've got those feel good CVRcade juju endorphins, right? Gotta get those. That's so good. Well, we will see you. They do. We'll see you in the pen on Saturday. Congratulations. Let's take a look at the replay for tonight's Omnium if we can. Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. So we started on Dark Matter Tech here. Nigel Doyle, the headliner of the night, but he wasn't able to take Dark Matter Tech. It was a 1-2-3 position between Jennifer, Timothy, and Aaron, setting the tone early in the race. He was sitting up there drinking water. Jennifer looked pretty relaxed. It's our low skill event. Typically, we've seen Jennifer and Aaron execute the comeback kid in different ways and execute the timing perfectly. But because the 3 of them were working together and had a break, they didn't have to do anything crazy. They just had to hold that position. And then it started to heat up where Nigel said, "Enough's enough, Jennifer. Enough's enough, Timothy. You can work together all you want, but I am feeling it and I am bringing the heat." The Velocity Vixen rider on Submerged Stadium. And then we had Luis give him a little bit of a fight and push him. And Nigel would take the challenge and said, "I will up your challenge ×2. I'll get a break on you." Luis was not able to close that gap down. Meanwhile, we had the peloton, while Nigel was absolutely busting it across the line, we had the peloton of Frank, Timothy, and Jennifer close down a gap. Wasn't enough to take it away from Nigel. You can see there with his signature move. Then we came on to 6 laps of Temple Run there. There was a time there where I thought Luis was going to be in trouble on that first lap. I'm not sure what he had brought, but Luis was able to get back and close it down. But again, the front of the race here was not, Luis did make up some ground here. He did overtake Timothy. He did overtake Jennifer. This is where Luis made up his time here. Timothy had a crash and Luis was able to move himself up the leaderboard. There's Nigel telling me, "Hey, Beth, Frank's on keyboard. Hello." And I'm like, "Oh, right. That's right. We do have him in on keyboard. That's awesome." And then it was Frank who took the race, but Nigel did take second place here on the night. And as Frank came across on Temple Run, he was in team chat with his teammates, making sure that they knew what to do, what they needed to do. And that is what we see here. Nigel finishing. So as Nigel comes across the line here on Temple Run, he was going and sitting in really nicely. He's giving me the moves. I love it. I love all those moves. Then we went to Country Rally, where right out of the gate, Nigel followed. He told us what he was going to do. You know, sometimes people keep their strategy right close to their chest, but he told us what he was going to do. He did what he said he was going to do and got to the front, made people respond. Luis was hot on his heels, as was Aaron at the beginning. But in the end, Nigel held them all off. Frank was able to kind of close it at the end and make it close, but Frank did have a crash at the finish. Then Nigel came across the line. Luis came in second, and the way that shaped up was Nigel, Luis, Jennifer, and then Frank. So that was an exciting Zone T racing. We do this every Tuesday and Thursday, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central Time. We will post this all up. If you like what you see, please follow us. Join us every Tuesday, Thursday. We also race earlier in the day in zones K and L, which is 1 p.m. and 2 p.m. Eastern Time. So you can watch us there too. So find us. You can follow us on Facebook, on Twitter, CVRcade.com for all the details. Download the game and join me for Rise and Rift tomorrow, 5:35 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and I'll give you all the insight to how the game works and get you set up and start. And maybe we can see you race on Saturday. From all of us at CVRcade, we will see you Saturday.
But no, Beth, yours goes crashing down. Determination, the suffering, the ability to... And she has unleashed everything in this attack. See just how much that win means to him. All the marbles. Kayla versus Allison, and to the line. Kayla Laguna takes the victory.